D Brown here. June 10th. (3:40 p.m. 2026). I don't want my daughter to inherit all my fears. Again, my daughter's leaving for college, man, and one of the things that I pray for her, and I always try to instill with her, is just straight confidence and not worrying about what other people think. One of my issues came, especially when I started my professional career. Matter of fact, it goes even deeper. I'm going to share a little story. I was a freshman in high school, and I had this mom walk up to me. I just made the varsity high school team from JV. I played my first game or two. I had, I was in the papers. I had, basically I was doing, started to do my thing. My first couple of games in varsity high school football as a freshman. And one of the moms, who was a substitute teacher of a classmate of mine, walked up to me in the middle of the hallway while I'm walking. And again, I'm feeling like, I'm that dude. The previous years in middle school, I dealt with some insecurities and wondering why, girls and all that wasn't liking me and all of that. As a freshman, now I'm a freshman on the high school football team. I got a little older girl feeling me a little bit, so I'm feeling myself, you know what I mean? And then she walked up to me, she's like, "Oh, I just know your head is so big right now," whatever, and said it in a real nasty way. And I was like, not really. But I was like, is that what people think of me? And ever since then, I started really going out my way to be extremely modest and humble. Sometimes that's cool, but other times that's not so cool. That's like you downplaying your skill set, that you're downplaying who you are. In this day and age, you got to cheer for yourself. You got to shoot for, basically walk around like you that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And ever since then, I started internalizing what people think of you, of me, I should say. So fast forward to the professional career, and I was wondering why these coaches would feel a certain way about me, man. They be hating on me sometimes, and I be trying to be cool with everybody. And I definitely had my swag and shit, but it was like I just didn't understand. And one of my coach friends told me, "Yo, D, everybody ain't gonna just like you. You go out your way to make everybody like you, and not everybody's just gonna rock with you like that." And I didn't understand that. It got to the point where, you start feeling uncomfortable. You go into work and you really want to curse somebody out, but you got to, be semi-cool with them, and you feel like a fake. Then fast forward, when I started, getting into content and I really was going back and forth with wanting to start shooting videos. I was taking all these courses in real estate and seeing all these people paying thousands of dollars for these courses and these so-called gurus. And I was like, well, technically I played baseball for 16 years professionally. I, been playing this game for over 25 years as a 7-8-year-old. I feel like I'm pretty much a guru when it comes to the sport of baseball. Let me start making videos, because I was watching these YouTube videos and hitting and all these people that I was not agreeing with what they were talking about. And, they probably had some form of baseball background, but they didn't reach the level that I reached. So I felt a certain way. But then on the flip side, I started worrying about what other teammates of mine or other MLB guys or professional ball players thinking, what's D doing on the internet? What is he, what he trying to do? He trying to be an internet guy? Now, this is 10 years ago now. And I went a whole year contemplating if I was going to do it, go on the internet, what people going to think, worried about shit that didn't even matter. And so I finally got enough nerve, and I told my boy this, man. Shout out to, he probably don't know who I'm talking about. I don't want to call his name out, but that's my boy. I used his son in a hitting video, and I made a video, and he, it came out really good. And I had him all day with me. We worked out. and we filmed them. And I told my boy, I said, I told him some of my fears I had about this, how long it took me to kind of get to this point. And I said, either my guys will make fun of me or they'll copy me. You know, I never received any type of hate. I never had anybody, at least to my face. Nobody ever said, yo, D, what you doing on the internet? You know, whatever. If anything, I had people complimenting me. Like, yo, I see you. Even my old Major League hitting coach came out of nowhere, saw my videos of hitting and, you know, commenting on some of my, you know, hitting things. And I learned a lot of that from him. And I didn't know he even had my Facebook account or anything like that. So that let me know, like, and then of course you start seeing more professionals and people, again, at least in my space, in my atmosphere, start putting a lot more content out there into the universe and onto the internet. Not to say that I inspired them, who knows, I don't know. But I know, what I do know is that I put all this fear, you know, all this inherited fear, worried about what people think. So when I tell my daughter, I'm just like, listen, you know, I'm trying to get her to post more. I'm trying to get her to, you know, like, be comfortable in your skin. I remember I was so confident, and then, you know, when these coaches and these things, they start knocking down your confidence, and you start thinking differently. You start walking around worried about what they're thinking and all of that. When I first couple years in the pro game, I just knew I was the shit. And they ain't like that, man. They didn't like that. And they do things to try to humble you and talk crazy. I remember my major league manager at the time, man, came and told me, like, I see how you dress. I see how you walk around and, you know, whatever. I know that he brought race into it. It was just crazy. And I ain't know they were looking at me like that. But it let me know they looking at me. And now you start getting, you know, they were trying to humble you, man. And now you start looking at yourself different. But then they want you to be this, you know, all-world guy. But they want you to, you know, kind of be on a quiet, shut up, and just, you know, play, don't, whatever. And I wasn't loud. I just want my player to do the talking. But I didn't necessarily confide to, you know, what it's supposed to look like for them. So when I talk to my daughter, I just let her know, like, listen, man, don't, like, work as hard as you can, but understand that all people are not going to like you for whatever reason. Your teammates may not rock, all of them, you know, one may not like you, all of them, the rest may do it. Some are smile in your face, but not be cool. You know, friends of yours, you know, be careful with them. Boyfriends, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want her to walk around with fear, but I definitely don't want her to, you know, be naive out here. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I want her to not have those type of fears that I've had, worrying about what people think of you. Even when it comes to doing this stuff on the internet. I always want things to semi be perfect. I want to look a certain way and all of that. But honestly, sometimes it just comes down to the message, man. Some people may have something to say about it, maybe based on the parents. I don't want to be looking crazy, but sometimes it's just, you know, I feel like I have something to say, and I feel like if it helps one person, or if one person could relate to me, I've done my job. Do you guys ever feel like, you know, you worry about and, you know, have your kids inherit some of the fears that you had, and you hope that they don't? You hope that there just be some confident MFers out here in this world? You ever feel that way? That's what I'm feeling right now, man. I'm just hoping my daughter just don't give an F. It's just, you know, walk in her beauty, walk in her magic, walk in her grace, and just say F everybody who don't rock with me. I am that, excuse my language, B-I-T-C-H, all right? I am that shit, and I tell her that.